Hello everybody, this is me again, this time with a video. I'm gonna try to argue against Jordan Peterson and his notion of the truth, and if you won't understand my babble, I will write my arguments down to the description, so they will be better written in there if you can't catch what I'm trying to say, because I'm not the most best abstract explainer person there is, but yet I'm still trying to make a career out of YouTube, so it's kind of funny. But moving on, so one of the things that I have a problem with Peterson is the notion of the truth, because I feel as though he talks about basic worldly level truth, but he doesn't move into the sphere of possible God, in my opinion. I see him as I see his philosophy sort of putting God as the truth, whereas I see it like that God works through the truth in human beings. So I'm more I take Jesus's lessons of life literally, whereas he attempts to be beyond them and interpret them in his own Jungian kind of analytic approach, which is probably fine. And one of the things I heard Ben Shapiro once say about Peterson in one of the recent interviews, I don't exactly remember which it was, but there was this one sentence where Ben Shapiro said that you can't always justify everything with Jungian archetypes, and that is a sentence with which I completely agree with that sentence, because I feel as though Peterson is sort of attempting to make an archetype out of the Christian kind of religion, Jungian archetype, and I feel as though that's very wrong, because first of all, this is my first argument. I call this argument of the future and the past. So let's say we have this Petersonian notion of the truth, spoken truth, what you can see in the world. First of all, I would ask, how can you be sure that the truths that have happened in the past are completely true without a kind of a line going to the past that unifies it? And secondly, looking from the perspective of the future, we all have a specific limited amount of time here in Earth. So how can you be sure that the things that you now speak of as the truth are the absolute truth, when you can't see the end point of your living, because you have a limited time while you're living? That's one of my first arguments, and this leads to my second argument. What is the absolute notion in which all the truths that Peterson spoke of completely meet, the end point of everything? And to reach that end point, you would have to sort of believe in something that is in the end point already, or beyond the end point. So that in itself forces one to have a specific religion to follow, or faith system at least. And now when we look at teachings of Jesus, he exactly says to have faith in the Father, and he speaks of himself as the truth. He says that he's the truth, he's the God's word. So I feel as though the right way of interpreting Jesus's teachings is that you have to speak the truth, as Peterson says, but the filter in which the truth manifests itself is the Bible itself. So you have to speak according to the Bible, and not according to the overall truths of science and this earthly world. And I feel as though when you look at kind of these men of peace, for example Gandhi and Martin Luther King, they did it like that. They channeled their truth from the message of the Bible itself. And that's when you get this unlimited amount of power by faith, and you can completely do anything, because the teachings of Jesus are written in such manner that you never hurt anybody else while you're doing them, in my opinion. Well, of course you can sort of hurt somebody else because they don't share the views, but this is a matter of speaking what a person sees as the truth. It's not kind of forced aggression, you know. So that's one of my arguments. I don't know if you get what I mean, but basically I say that the right filter in which the Petersonian idea of speaking the truth is needs to be done is the Bible itself, and that's how you sort of do God's will, to say the least. And moving on to my next argument about Peterson, how this leads to the final conclusion of deciding what's the right religion to follow. Now that we have this idea of limited time, we can't only rely on the truth that we can speak in this world, because our time here is very limited. So it seems to me that in the future it will all boil down to the fact that what's right and what's not right, and what's the real religion, what is not, you know. I don't know if you're catching my point, but it's very close to the point of what's made by Peterson, but I'm filtering my personal perception of the truth via Bible, basically. That's what I'm saying. That's all. I don't know if you can get through my babble about this, but I'm gonna post a sort of an more better articulated version of kind of my arguments in the description, so you can catch them from there if you can't understand my babble, which is sort of completely understandable because I have a tendency of mumbling very badly, and I'm not the performer I was born to be. So alright, catch you later and have fun, I guess.